All right, it's time to talk about End Cap Algo. It is being released today. It's finally here, and I'm going to show you the settings, how it works. First of all, just so everybody knows, right up front, we are using regular candles. Using standard OHLC is turned on, bar magnifier is on, bar close is turned on. If I can go ahead and we'll change it to Heiken and we can change it to um, turn that off and update the report and see what it says and see if it's different. Just to show that that we were using regular candles and that it was turned on. So there we go. There's the difference right there. If I turn it back to regular candles, turn on standard, click, and you will see that it changes back to what it was. Just to get that out of the way real quick. There you go. What I've got going on here is the default settings that I'm going to be running with it. So you can go through and play with settings all you want, do whatever you want, but this is what I found to be the best so far. I'm sure someone out there will find something better. That is awesome. I encourage everybody to play with settings and do what they're going to do. But basically, we're running off the 45-minute end cap. And we're using 6 a.m. to 1600 as our time filter. It will close and cancel all pending orders when it hits that time. Our trigger source, you can switch between beacon line price rejection or both. I am using beacon. My confluence, I am using the 1 week. So we're using time based, right? So if you click this, used when confluence mode equals time based. So I'm using the 1 week zone. I am doing a 0.5 and obviously, and then I'm running 2 contracts on NQ. And this is the numbers that I'm getting from January 1st to now. And it would have made 36,000 with 3,500 in drawdown, 89% win rate with 6.7 profit factor. And this is with using regular candles. How does it work? Well, we get into this rejection here. Look at the beacon line rejection of the end cap. We've been preaching this strategy since we built the end caps on the first light beacon. You notice this, and there is the 0.5 right there. And why are we using a 0.5? I'm going to get this question because people think for some reason everybody preaches that you have to have a 2s and 3s and this and that. Well, let's change it to 2 and see what the numbers look like. And if you haven't noticed, in the last 6 months, uh, the ATR, it's just the ranges, they're not promoting trades going that far. Look at your drawdown right here. Now, if you have an account that is, and these are actually acceptable numbers. 46% win rate, 20% drawdown is a little high, but it's profitable. You're making 210% on your money. Now, if you have the accounts with the drawdown capability, then by all means go for it. But I'm building this for prop firms. I'm building this to pass prop firms and to make money off prop firms, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my 0.5 and get my higher win rate and my higher profit factor and multiply it by 10 or 20 accounts. Okay, so even if you wanted to drop down, say we'll drop down into to micros, MNQ on this, right? And we trade, let's say we trade 5 contracts throughout the year. Let's see what that number looks like. And I bet you're never going to lose an account. And well, I can't say never, but you never know. So things can happen. But here you go. Here's 8,000 with one account with 1,400 drawdowns since January 1st, with a 4.4 profit with a 84% win rate. If you have 10 or 20 accounts, that's 80 to 160 grand trading micros off some prop firm accounts. So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking at these numbers. That's how I'm going to utilize it. I am going to trade it on NQ, and I'm going to trade it with 2 contracts, and not 5, but 2. And if you want, you can actually remove the time filter and the confluence, and let's see what that looks like. Update. So there's no time filter. That's 24 hours, and there's no trend confluence. Let's see what this looks like. That's still that's pretty acceptable. Now let's the drawdowns again. It's high. I get it, but it's profitable, and you're still making 230%. If we go to MNQ and we were to do this on a prop firm and say just run 5 contracts, let's see what those numbers look like. If it's running 24 It's only 317 trades since January 1st, running 24 hours. Now, keep that in mind. It makes 16,000 with 3,000 in drawdown. That looks pretty good, especially when you have 10 or 20 accounts. So now you're at 160 or 320,000 with 10 or 20 accounts, right? Or more. You can, I mean, 40, 50, 60, 100 accounts, however many accounts you really want to start scaling into. Let's do it with no time filter and just run on with Confluence. So we're using trend Confluence off of the weekly zone. So basically what that means is it's the weekly dynamic zone. It's only going to buy if above or sell if below. It won't allow the counter trends, right? So here we are with 11,000, 78% win rate, 2 profit factors. So that's 24/7. That's 136 trades, and that's not bad. That's another 3,000 from if we're only running it during US session. But these are really just decisions that you have to make on your own. And what do you really want it to? Do you want it to run that much? But 8,000 off one setting, but that's only 44 trades for since January 1st. So that's actually good, and we're winning. So as long as you can scale into more prop firm accounts, or if you have a heavy cash account, um, you can do some serious damage with this algo. The thing is it's using regular candles, and um, I get so much slack on the algos I build that are specific for Heiken Ashi, and they still work. They're just fine, but this is showing you real numbers. Okay, we're using real candles here, real executions on bar closes, and this is, if you look, 0.5 because our stop loss is the bottom of the end cap. Anyways, the algo will be released today. It's going to be in the WAP, and I look forward to people playing with it and finding settings that I haven't even had a chance to look for yet. Have a great one.